Ever wonder what it was really like to be a soldier in Caesar's legions? I'm not talking about the shiny armor and perfect formations you see in movies. I mean the mud, the blood, and the brutal reality of life on the front lines. Well, today we're diving into the story of two real-life Roman soldiers who saw it all, Lucius Vorenus and Titus Pullo. These guys weren't generals or senators. They were centurions, the tough-as-nails sergeants of the Roman army, and their story is so wild, Julius Caesar himself wrote about them. So, who were these guys? Caesar introduces them in his book, Commentaries on the Gallic War. He tells us they were both centurions in the 11th Legion, serving in Gaul, which is modern-day France. And here's the kicker. They were fierce rivals. Caesar writes they were perpetually competing with each other for promotion. You can just imagine them constantly trying to one-up each other, flexing their military prowess, and probably talking a lot of trash back at the barracks. Vorenus was likely the more senior, by-the-book officer, while Pullo was the hot-headed brawler, always looking for a fight. They were polar opposites, but their destinies were about to collide in one of the most epic battlefield moments in Roman history. The year is 54 BC. Caesar's legions are deep in enemy territory, laying siege to a Belgic fort. The Gauls, led by a chieftain named Ambiorix, suddenly launch a ferocious counterattack, swarming the Roman fortifications. It's chaos. Spears are flying, swords are clashing, and the Romans are struggling to hold the line. This is where our story gets good. In the middle of the mayhem, Titus Pullo, ever the show-off, decides this is his moment to shine. He turns to the other soldiers and yells something like, "Why are you hesitating, Vorenus? What better opportunity are you waiting for to prove your courage? This day will decide our rivalry." And with that, he leaps over the rampart and charges straight into the thickest part of the enemy horde. Of course, Lucius Vorenus isn't about to be outdone. Worried about what his fellow soldiers would think if he just stood there, he grabs his sword and follows Pullo right into the fray. Classic rivalry, right? Pullo throws his javelin and impales a Gaul, but as he goes to strip the man of his armor, he's surrounded. A spear pierces his shield and gets stuck, preventing him from drawing his sword. He's trapped. The enemy closes in, and it looks like it's all over for our hot-headed hero. But then, just as Pullo is about to be cut down, who comes to his rescue? None other than his rival, Lucius Vorenus. Vorenus charges in, sword swinging, drawing the attention of the Gauls. The enemy fighters turn from the trapped Pullo to face this new threat. Vorenus engages them in a fierce sword fight, cutting one down, but then he stumbles and falls into a ditch. Now it's his turn to be in trouble. The Gauls surround him, ready to finish him off. It's a complete role reversal. And what does Pullo do? He doesn't hesitate. Seeing his rival about to be killed, he fights his way to Vorenus' side. Together, back to back, the two rivals fight off the remaining attackers. They kill several more Gauls, and with a great show of courage, they both make it back behind the Roman lines, completely unharmed. The entire legion witnessed their incredible feat. They had charged into certain death and saved each other's lives. Caesar writes, "Thus fortune dealt with them both in their rivalry and in the combat. As rivals, they had each come to the aid of the other and saved him, and it was impossible to decide which of the two could be considered the braver man. This single incident immortalized them. It was a perfect story for Caesar. It showed the incredible bravery and discipline of his centurions, even when they were bickering with each other. It was a testament to the esprit de corps of the Roman army that no matter their personal beef, when the chips were down, they were brothers in arms. This wasn't just a random brawl. It was a display of the very qualities that made the Roman legions so unstoppable. They were competitive, yes, but their loyalty to the eagle and to each other was stronger. So what happened to them after this legendary moment? Caesar doesn't mention them again in his Gallic War commentaries. It's a bit of a historical cliffhanger. Did they finally earn that promotion they were fighting over? Did they become friends? Or did they go right back to arguing the next day? We don't know for sure. Their story disappears from the military records of the Gallic campaign. But their tale doesn't completely end there. Years later, during the Roman Civil War, when Caesar fought against Pompey, we hear of them again. A Lucius Vorenus and a Titus Pullo are mentioned in Caesar's writings about the Civil War, fighting on his side. Most historians believe these are our same two centurions. They seem to have stuck with Caesar, following him from Gaul to the battlefields of the Civil War. It suggests a deep loyalty to their general. This time, they weren't just fighting for glory on the frontier. They were fighting for the very soul of Rome itself. The mention is brief, but it shows they survived the brutal Gallic wars and continued their military careers at the highest level of conflict. They were part of the veteran legions that crossed the Rubicon with Caesar and changed the course of Roman history forever. From rivals in a muddy trench in Gaul to veterans in a war that would topple the Republic, their journey was extraordinary. The story of Vorenus and Pullo is so compelling because it's a snapshot of real life in the legions. It's not about famous generals making grand speeches. It's about two gritty, ambitious, and incredibly tough NCOs who embodied the Roman fighting spirit. They were rivals, yes, but they were also comrades. Their story shows that history isn't just made by the men at the top. It's forged in the courage and sacrifice of ordinary soldiers on the front lines. They were the backbone of the Roman army, the men who turned Caesar's ambitions into reality. Their tale has resonated through the centuries. It's a timeless story of rivalry, honor, and battlefield brotherhood. It reminds us that behind the grand narratives of empires and wars, there are always human stories of conflict, friendship, and incredible bravery. Lucius Vorenus and Titus Pullo may have just been two centurions among thousands, but thanks to their rivalry and a single moment of battlefield chaos, their names are remembered 2,000 years later. They are a powerful symbol of the Roman soldier, tough, competitive, but ultimately loyal to the very end. So, the next time you think of the Roman legions, don't just picture faceless soldiers in perfect ranks. Think of Vorenus and Pullo, arguing over who was better, before charging headfirst into a storm of enemy spears, only to save each other's lives. It's one of the greatest war stories ever told, and the best part is, it's true. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into Roman history. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the ancient world. Let me know in the comments which historical figures you'd like to hear about next. See you in the next video.